Hi, I'm Masha, and I'm a Family Constellations facilitator, astrologer, and somatic practitioner in upstate New York. I hold cacao and family constellation workshops in the Hudson Valley, and I wanted to make a video of a teaching that I often share at the start of our workshops because I think it's a beautiful transmission of what this work is all about. And I'll say briefly here that Family Constellations is a holistic healing modality that helps people address personal challenges that originate in their past, in their family, and most notably in their family's history. It's a unique approach that helps reveal the hidden dynamics that often lie at the root of recurring patterns in relationships, family dynamics, and our life experiences. So basically, we're able to uncover these hidden dynamics, hidden loyalties that are causing challenges in our lives. And through this work, we are able to expose the truth and bring movement, reconciliation, and clarity and understanding to the challenges that we live day to day. And Constellation's work can be done one-on-one, but it's perhaps most known for its experiential group process, where people come together in community to explore these patterns in a living, embodied way. They're amazing. So, for those that don't know, Family Constellations was pioneered by Bert Hellinger, a German psychologist, and what I'm about to share with you was taught to me by Suzi Tucker, who was originally asked to translate his books into English and later became one of the most respected teachers and facilitators of this work. And what she called this teaching the first constellation, the kitchen table. And I found this, when I first heard it, I found it to be one of the most powerful ways to really express what Family Constellations is really about. It's like almost a transmission. So that's what I'm going to share with you now. At the root of everything that we do in Family Constellations is a respect and understanding of the significance of belonging. Belonging is core. We need water, food, shelter, and we need to belong to someone or something if we are to survive. Just as it is moments after birth, by and large, belonging begins with our relationship to our mother. So when working with the family system, it deserves to be respected that our need to belong is a survival instinct. If we don't belong to someone, we don't survive. It's that simple. So it kicks in our survival mechanism. In Family Constellations, we often begin by looking at where we first learned belonging. This is what Suzi Tucker calls the first constellation, the kitchen table. But before we ever even joined the world, perhaps the first true constellation began when we belonged to our mother's womb, our first shelter. This is where we learn what safety, rhythm, and connection felt like in there. We can feel or know if there are others before us. We carry the cells of who came before us. We learned of her relationship to the world, to herself, to her nervous system, to us, to those around her. For example, was there a man there? Was there a father, a sibling? We absorbed it all as we grew inside her womb. And then came the kitchen table, that first circle of family where we absorbed so much more. We absorbed how people express love, how emotions are handled, who speaks, who stays quiet, who leads, who disappears. Even now, part of us might still be living by those early agreements, the invisible rules that once kept us safe. In constellations, we say they form a type of loyalty, a deep, unconscious commitment to stay connected to those we come from, even at the cost of our freedom. Loyalty to the past sometimes interferes with the possibility of the future. And so we live in these rules that weren't created by us, and we fit into roles that we didn't choose. By the time we're 6 years old, this inner map of belonging is already forming. We may dream of moving forward, but our bodies whisper, stay safe, stay loyal. So I'm going to invite you for a moment to close your eyes and to remember your own kitchen table. Up until the age of 6. And as you imagine this kitchen table, who's there? Who's around you? Where do you sit? What's the feeling in the room? Is it loud? Is it quiet? Is it warm? Is it tense? Who's missing? What did you learn there about love, safety, or silence? And as you keep imagining, are there ghosts at your table? Maybe somebody who died young, or someone who wasn't spoken of, but whose absence you still feel. Maybe a biological parent who wasn't there, or a story that was never told, yet somehow you knew. Just notice what arises. There's no right or wrong way to do this, only what your body kind of remembers. Now imagine that kitchen table again and notice the windows around it. Outside those windows are the larger forces that pressed in on your family. War, famine, migration, loss, injustice, early deaths. These histories live just beyond the kitchen walls, shaping the moods and silences inside, even when no one spoke of them. Sometimes we think, Mom was just like that, or Dad was this way, but outside that kitchen window, there's more. There's a whole landscape of experiences that shaped them long before we arrived. Constellation looks to history to understand our current ways in the world. And I'm going to share a list of questions that are meant to prompt you to further consider what you're looking at when you look at your family story. And I will offer a little trigger warning here, as some of the questions are confronting. These are meant to show you how things that happened behind us may have shifted the kitchen tables of our ancestors, which changed the language of the interactions at our table, often one of thriving to one of survival. So here we go. You can keep your eyes closed if you'd like, or open them. Did somebody in the family die very young in childbirth, in war, by suicide, or another way? Was there a mother, or a grandmother, or a great-grandmother who died in childbirth? Did someone in the family commit a great crime, or do something that brought shame upon the family, creating guilt, or perhaps leading to atonement? Did your parents or their parents have previous marriages or important relationships that ended suddenly or were never fully resolved? What happened to that person? Were there people in the family who faced special fates that made them outsiders or outliers in the family? This was perhaps generations ago, where the rules of belonging was even narrower than they are today. Think about the unwed mothers or so-called disabled children, family members who were institutionalized, imprisoned, financially humiliated, or those who loved in ways that were unacceptable, misunderstood, understood by the prevailing conscience of the family. Was there an early separation between a biological child and a parent or both parents? This includes adoption, foster parenting, step parenting. It includes the death of one of the parents or the hospitalization of the baby or young child. Was someone or many forced from their home or their homeland? Did they leave for a so-called better life? Or did they leave to save their lives? Did anyone cause the death of somebody outside the family, whether by accident or deliberately? Conversely, was someone killed by somebody outside the family, whether by accident or deliberately? So these are the first questions, and perhaps you have more. We are looking for profound breaches of expectancy that happened around previous kitchen tables and shifted things in a way that they rolled through generations, 1 or 2 or 4 or 7, until they reached us, and we just thought, well, that's life. So when we begin to see what's outside of those windows, something begins to open. We start to understand how we belong to their belonging. We didn't just inherit their personalities, we inherited their circumstances, their survival strategies, their unfinished stories. This is what Suzi Tucker called our inherited personal conscience. It's what we can talk about to our therapists. It's what we're aware of. Constellation work helps us look at that bigger system, the systemic conscience. It's the conscience that we follow but don't feel. It's the places where we are mysterious to ourselves. Why do we do things that we can't explain? Why we hold on or push away? Suzi called this the cult of the family, the early code of what's right, what's wrong, what's beautiful, what's forbidden. It's the way we think it is. And it takes a long time to recognize that there are other ways. We think it's correct. Our survival is based on this agreement. We are attached to these people for our survival. Insecure or secure, we have no choice in the matter. Sometimes the kitchen table is thwarted. We move in to compensate and make up for something, or to not disturb, and in this way, our natural growth is slowed and sometimes stuck, and we take on roles not of our choosing. Like the fearful mom, the angry dad, the motherless mother, the older sibling who had a difficult fate. We get imprisoned in our specialness, our roles, like the golden child, the caretaker, the smart one, and we have difficulty moving forward. The kitchen table tells us who we are. We survive first, and then we get to thrive. And some of us remain and continue to survive, but we don't get to thrive. By looking back with compassion, we begin to find peace in our own system, our own nervous system, our own parts. We become informed by where we come from, but no longer confined by it. And yet, out of that cult comes extraordinary things, our tastes, our humor, our ways of loving, our sense of belonging. Family Constellations invites us to look with humility to see that we are part of something much larger. We look at the system from which we come in order to find greater peace with the system we shelter, the nervous system, so that we can actually move forward with greater freedom, contribution, creativity, and true optimism, a grounded force of life that comes when we're no longer bound by the past. And so, as we begin to work with family constellations in groups or one-on-one, I invite you to hold this image, your kitchen table, the windows around it, the world outside, and your place within it. That's where every constellation begins.